Heyo, welcome back to the Undrafted and Unqualified Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Anthony here today. As mentioned last week, it's just going to be me this week. Vinny's just got a super busy week with the holiday travel, things like that. So we'll make this a quick one, in and out, right? We got a big week. We got the championship coming up, week 17. So got some good things to talk about heading into that week. First things first, we always recap where we're at. I haven't heard about how Vinny did in his leagues, but I ended up losing one in the semifinal. Tough one. My opponent just went off, and then in the league I'm with Vinny, I'm actually in the championship. I got it done, so I have a chance at a three-peat, which is pretty cool. I think Vinny's pretty surprised by that too. But yeah, let's just hop into it because we got a lot to cover today. I want to keep it kind of quick too. I know it's a busy week. Um, so hopping into the news as always, George Kittle, ankle injury. It does seem to be a low to mid ankle sprain. So he said he avoided a high, and they confirmed that today. He could still miss a week or two even. So just keep an eye on that. If he doesn't play, Jake Tonjes is not a bad option if you're really in a pinch at tight end. Lamar Jackson, his back got hurt. He was a DMP at practice today. He didn't finish the game against the Patriots Sunday night. So you know, consider things going on with that. All right. If Lamar doesn't go, Zay Flowers is downgraded. The offense as a whole is downgraded. Those tight ends. Um, Hopefully Lamar is back and healthy, but I don't think I even trust Lamar heading into the championship week, just with the way things have gone with him and the injuries. So yeah, not a great situation there. Travion Henderson hurt his head. He's in concussion protocol, I believe. If he doesn't go, Ramondre Stevenson is a great option. He'll be a bell cow, so he'll have a good opportunity against the Jets, who have been pretty terrible against the running backs. So I think that's a pretty good option if Travion doesn't suit up. Just keep an eye there, though. I think Travion's a good option if he's cleared and good to go. Quinshawn Judkins, this was a bad one. He hurt his leg pretty bad. I think he broke it in multiple areas, sprained stuff too. It was a pretty bad injury. That ends Judkins' rookie season. It looks like Dylan Sampson should be the next man up, but he's been out the last few weeks. So Raheem Sanders is the next available option if Sampson isn't good to go. It's the Browns. They're not the best options anyways, but do with that what you will. Jordan Love, concussion. We'll see. Just keep an eye on it. Downgrade the whole offense again if he's unable to go. Malik Willis seems to be doing okay, getting things done, but I believe he was also a DMP at practice today. So if neither of them go, really downgrade this offense. Kamani Vidal, his neck, it seems like he's day to day. Neck injuries are always scary, but it seems like he's just day to day. Hampton was taking over again as the lead back before the injury as well, so it does look like this will be Hampton moving forward. Don't worry too much about Vidal. I would not play him in championship week. JJ McCarthy, his hand, he's been ruled out for the week. We're going to have Max Brosmer. Downgrade every receiving option, downgrade the Vikings as a whole. It looks like Jordan Mason won't be going either, and he hurt his ankle. So, yeah, he hasn't been ruled out just yet, but I would expect him not to go, and that's a brutal matchup too against the Lions. So I think it's just going to be a rough one for all of the Vikings pass catchers in this one with Max Brosmer starting at quarterback. Pat Bryant, say it's a concussion, but I mean he got rocked so bad. You just never know. You just never know. It looks like Troy Franklin will be stepping into that wide receiver two role with Cortland Sutton, who's been very good. He's solidified himself as the wide receiver one, the alpha in that offense for the Broncos. So I think Troy Franklin could be a decent option as well. But, Sutton, a little bit of a boost to him as well. Prayers for Pat Bryant. Gardner Minshew, he hurt his knee. It was feared to be a torn ACL. He avoided that, but I still expect him to miss some time. So it looks like it might be Chris Ludicon, however you say his name, seventh rounder, I think last year maybe out of Pitt. I don't expect much for him for this offense. Kelsey had a bad week. I don't expect a lot for Rashi Rice either. I'd be very hesitant to start either one of them. Although I'm probably, if I have Rashi Rice and Kelsey, I'm probably still going to just know that it might be an ugly week from them. Just know that, even if you roll them out. DK Metcalf suspended 2 games. It's been upheld. You won't have him for championship week, so it's a downgrade for everybody on that Steelers offense. I think Gainwell gets a boost though. He's been getting a ton of work in the receiving game. I anticipate him to continue to get a ton this week. So yeah, I mean there's got to be a boost too in the wide receiver room. Maybe I just don't think it's yeah, I can't even think of off the top of my head who would get that boost. Maybe Calvin Austin. I don't even know how he's been playing, but yeah, DK going down hurts the Steelers as a whole, and it hurts fantasy teams, who made the championship with him. Devontae Adams is likely out again as well. So be prepared for that. Pivot, do what you did last week, probably. If you won without Adams last week, can probably do the same thing this week, hopefully, with whoever you pivoted to. So just be aware that Adams is likely out again, and Puka should go crazy once more. Um, yeah, all right, let's do the recap. That's all the news for today. So, starting off with last Thursday, it was the Seahawks coming back and beating the Rams in overtime. Stafford looked great, right? Corum continues to get work and gets touchdowns. He's a decent option if you're in a pinch. If you need a spot start, Corum is not a bad play. Kyron's still getting the bulk of the work, but yeah, and then other than that, it's really all Puka, and that's it. So very simple offense here. But Corum, yeah, not a bad option. I'd feel pretty confident with Stafford. I'd feel very confident with Puka. Even Kyron, I think, would be a good option this week. As for the Seahawks, Darnold, it was an okay day. I probably wouldn't feel too good about him for championship week, but if you're in a pinch and you like the matchup, go for it. Um, Ken Walker, great day from him, 11 for 100 and a touchdown, 3 for 64 through the air. It was a weird, really good day for him. He likes beating up on the Rams for whatever reason. But yeah, I think Ken Walker and Charbonnet got in the end zone as well. They're both flex plays at best. Could be another good day for Ken Walker. You never know just because he has that upside. Other than that, you're looking at JSN, who you're going to start every week and feel great about. And AJ Barner, if you're really in a pinch at tight end, 4 for 49 and one in this one, not bad. He looks like the second receiving option. He continues to be. Rashid Shaheed is kind of just not there right now. He's more that special teams gadget guy for them. He's been unbelievable in the special teams. So I'm not looking at Rashid Shaheed at all. But yeah, I think that kind of covers those two teams there. Going on to Saturday, we had a couple games on Saturday. We had the Eagles beat the Commanders, and we had Jalen Hurts. He was okay. He's gonna get it done. Saquon, another good game. I like Saquon for this championship. I think he's got a good schedule. It's the Bills, right? He's gonna be utilized. AJ Brown's been amazing too. Devontae Smith got in the end zone. Goddard got in the end zone again. All these guys are good options against a tough Bills team, so I'd feel pretty good starting either one. Commanders, yeah, Mariota got hurt. The running backs, it was Chris Rodriguez, but Bill Krosky got in the end zone as well. Neither one's a super exciting option, but if you're in a pinch, honestly, I think Chris Rodriguez is a fine play. I don't expect Mariota to play this week, though, so it's a little scary. Even for, then you got the receivers, Terry, Debo, both seem like great options against the Dallas Cowboys this week, but it's a little scary when you might not have Mariota and it might be Josh Johnson playing this week. Um, but yeah, we'll get into one more Saturday game in 1 second. All right, let's get into that Bears versus Packers game on Saturday. The Packers, Jordan Love got hurt early, so Malik Willis had to come in. There was a weird, split between Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson this week. Not entirely sure if they're trying to rest him up or what's going on there, but if Emmanuel Wilson is getting carries, he had 14 to Jacobs 12. If that's the case, Wilson might be a decent spot start if need be. As for receivers, Jaden Reed was disappointing. There's nobody that was really good. Even Christian Watson, who has been good, he wasn't very good. It was Romeo Dobbs. He went 5 for 84 and one. Honestly, I don't really trust any of these guys, especially if Love and Willis don't go. It's tough to trust them anyways because of how much they're in kind of like a roulette when you're picking and choosing who you're going to start. But Jacobs I'd still trust, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Keep an eye on his injury report throughout the week. maybe they were resting him up because he has been banged up pretty bad lately. So just keep an eye on that. As for the Bears, Caleb Williams, he had a solid day. DJ Moore, he was kind of the lone receiver there who was healthy. He went 5 for 97 and one and had that 46 yarder to ice the game in overtime. Wouldn't have been a great day otherwise, honestly, but it was a good day for DJ Moore. Keep an eye on Odunze. I don't know if Odunze goes again. I'd expect Burden back at least. If they're all good to go, I think you could start any of them if you really want to. But yeah, it's also kind of a little sketchy, a little scary starting any of them at this point. Kyle Monangai had 9 carries to DeAndre Swift's 13. He was pretty efficient in this one, and he also had 3 for 43 through the air, which was interesting because Swift has been the pass catching running back. But Swift had a couple catches of his own, and it was an okay day on the ground. They both feel fine, fine starters, if you need to. It feels like Monangai's kind of that goal line guy, so if you want to go Monangai, I don't mind that at all. And Loveland, he's a fine spot start if you need to. Not a great day for him, but if you need him. All right, let's go into Sunday. The Saints and Jets. The Saints were good. Shuck has been really good, actually. He's been great for fantasy too. He's constantly around like 17, 18 points each week. The running back situation, because they officially put what's his name? They put that backup running back, Devin Neal, they put him on IR, season-ending IR. So it was like, oh, who's it going to be? Audric Estime, Evan Hull. Well, it was Taysom Hill. It was Taysom Hill who went 12 for 42 on the ground. He's a fine option. He had 4 for 36 through the air. And Devon Vele got put on season-ending IR as well. Chris Olave in this one, 10 for 148 and 2 on 16 targets, and Juwan Johnson, 8 for 89. I think both Olave and Johnson are great options next week. I believe they're playing Tennessee, so it's a good matchup. So I really like the two of them. I think Taysom Hill's also a solid option, if you need to. And then Shuck, honestly, not a bad play either. As for the Jets, you're not really playing anyone. I mean, Breece Hall's kind of a gross starts too. He went 16 for 54, 2 catches for 9 yards. He's getting the work, but it's gross. Like it's really gross. This offense is just not good. If I'm starting anyone, it's Adonai Mitchell. He went 3 for 43 in this one. Garrett Wilson's been ruled out for the season on IR, but Adonai Mitchell feels fine if you need some volume. It's not necessarily going to translate to points just because it's the Jets, but yeah, him, maybe Breece Hall if you want to, but they both don't feel great. Nobody feels great from the Jets right now. The Bills beat the Browns. Josh Allen was bad in this one. James Cook was awesome again, 16 for 117 and 2. He looks great. He had a catch as well. Khalil Shakir led in receiving. It's the standard. You're not trusting him still. You're not trusting any of these guys. Kincaid did nothing in this one, literal goose. Kincaid, maybe you can trust because it's tight end, slimmer position, as we've talked about. But you're firing up James Cook, you're firing up Josh Allen. That's about it. As for the Browns, Shador was pretty bad in this one. Raheem Sanders, he was the guy I said, right, that he came in once Quinshon Judkins went down. So he seems like he's a maybe a decent start if Judkins and Sampson don't go. Judkins we know is not going, but Sampson, keep an eye on Sampson. Otherwise, Sampson can be an okay option. And then Harold Fannin, honestly, Harold Fannin continues to be a great option. He went 4 for 34 and a touchdown in this one. Team high in targets as well, tied with Quinshon Judkins. So yeah, I think honestly that's a good option as well. Harold Fannin, you should fire him up regardless. The next game is the Titans beating the Chiefs. Cam Ward looked pretty decent. He's starting to pull it together, which is nice to see. Tony Pollard, another game over 100, 21 carries for 102 yards, but that was it. I think if you need to flex a guy and you don't have anybody else, I think Pollard's a fine play for this upcoming week. Spears got in the end zone though on 13 carries. He also 5 for 53 through the air. He's that receiving guy. So he had a great week. I wouldn't trust him though. I wouldn't trust him. I think this was kind of an outlier week for him because they were up and they could use him on the ground as well. Receiving wise, I'm not trusting anybody. I wouldn't do anything there. Chiefs, I said it's a lot of con now with Minshew also getting hurt. Pacheco, he was the lead back, but it wasn't great. He had 6 for 41 through the air, though, on 7 targets, leading the team. There was no Rashee Rice in this one. So he was, I think he was hurt, maybe sick. I don't remember. But yeah, he got ruled out. Worthy didn't do much in his absence. Kelsey didn't do much in his absence. Feels like they may be looking towards Pacheco. I just don't trust anyone outside of, I'd probably still say Kelsey and Rice. Hopefully Rice is back and I'm trusting him. I wouldn't trust Pacheco even though it was a decent day. The Chargers beat the Cowboys in this next game here. Um, Herbert, he looked good. I believe he was my start of the week. He looked good. He looked great. You know, this matchup we've been feeding, it's been feeding families all year. So Justin Herbert looked great. It looked good for Quentin Johnston, 4 for 104 and a touchdown. The ball was spread around a lot in this one, though. Not to Gadsden, to Ladd, to Keenan, to Trey Harris, and to Quentin Johnston. Ladd got in the end zone as well, 4 for 43 and a touchdown. It was a decent day. I'm riding Ladd. I think Quentin feels like the two again pretty steadily. Gadsden feels sittable. I don't think I'd feel comfortable starting him. Hampton though, I said he started taking over. He looked good too. He went 16 for 85 and a touchdown. And yeah, he's starting to look good. So I'd be pretty confident in Hampton, even though it's a tough matchup this week. Cowboys, Dak Prescott looked great. He's been looking good all season long. George Pickens, 7 for 130 and one. CD, 6 for 51. You're starting both confidently, starting them both as wide receiver ones, in my opinion. Javonte Williams, it was kind of a weird day. He only had 9 carries compared to Malik Davis, who had 8. Maybe they're going to see if he can do anything. I'd still feel okay starting Javonte Williams. I think this could be a game they go up as well. So maybe that's a situation where it's like, okay, like this works out for Javante a little more. But yeah, and you should feel comfortable starting Dak this week as well. Vikings beat the Giants in kind of an ugly one. All the Vikings ended up getting hurt, right? Brosmer came in, he was fine. JJ was terrible. Justin Jefferson, 6 for 85. He came back a little bit. Aaron Jones, 21 for 85 on the ground because Jordan Mason got hurt, so they gave him everything, 2 catches. Honestly, I think I'd feel okay starting Aaron Jones if Mason misses this week. But other than that, I don't like anybody. I don't even like Justin Jefferson for this week. You know, it's Justin Jefferson though, so I don't blame you for firing him up. Especially I think it's against the Lions this week. Good matchup. Giants, Jackson Dart was terrible. They barely threw the ball. It was just a weird day for the receiving game, the passing game as a whole. I don't know what was going on there. Tracy had 16 carries for 71 and 2 catches. Devin Singletary, 11 for 47 and a catch. I think maybe they're just going through the running backs. I don't know. It's weird. They might do the same thing too because they get the Raiders this week. I just, I don't know. I think I'm okay starting Tracy. Dart, I'd probably want to start again. It's the Raiders after all. The Vikings are a great defense, great passing game defense, defense against receivers. So I think I'd be okay firing some of these guys up again. You know, Wandale, potentially Jackson Dart, maybe Theo Johnson if you really need to. I think Tracy's a good option too. But yeah, just a really bad day for the Giants offense as a whole. The Panthers. They beat the Buccaneers, who were in a crazy skid. Baker just didn't look great again. He hasn't looked like himself in a while. Igbuka, same thing. He hasn't looked that good either. Only 2 targets, 1 for 40. Mike Evans, 5 for 31 and a touchdown. Godwin went 5 for 30. I'm confident starting Mike Evans. I think he's looking good since he's been back from injury. He's been the one again. He's getting in the end zone. I think Mike Evans is a good option. Igbuka's really risky. I don't know if I'd be starting him. Godwin, I don't know either. Bucky feels very touchdown dependent. He gets all the carries, but he gets nothing at the goal line. So he went 19 for 71 in this one, and also no receiving work. That's another thing. So he hasn't been getting receiving work either, which has been big for him in the past. So yeah, Bucky feels like a touchdown dependent kind of RB2 right now. And because you're not going to start Sean Tucker or Rashad White, who kind of have those other roles solidified. As for the Panthers, Bryce Young was okay. Tet, he was great. 6 for 73 and one on 10 targets. You know, sometimes you're going to get those games out of him. He's going to be great. So I'd feel confident starting him. It's the Panthers. You never know what you're going to get with Bryce Young. But as long as he's good, I think Tet's getting the ball. So he's a good option there. Coker in deep leagues, I think I'm fine starting him too. Very deep leagues, like 14 team or more. Rico and Chuba, man, neither one of them touched double digits in terms of carries. I'd feel more comfortable starting Rico, but honestly, right now, it feels like I wouldn't want to start either one of them. The Bengals beat the Dolphins in a shootout, blowout. Joe Burrow, 4 touchdowns. He looked great. Bounce back game for him. Chase Brown had 3 touchdowns, two through the air, one on the ground. Great game for him. Jamar Chase, 9 for 109 on 11 targets. T. Higgins, 3 for 53 and a touchdown. You're starting all those guys. Let's keep it simple, and we'll stop right there. As for the Dolphins, Ewers was not very good in his first start. Jalen Waddle, though, it was not bad. 5 for 72 on 9 targets. I still just don't know if I trust Quinn Ewers. This is the Bengals defense. Terrible, terrible defense. So I just don't know if I trust Quinn Ewers or Jalen Waddle or any pass catcher for that matter. But Devon Achane, 15 for 81 and a touchdown, 3 catches for 9 yards. It was a okay day. I'm firing him up regardless. I feel good about Achane. The pass catchers, not so much. It's a risky start if you want to go Waddle. The Jaguars upset the Broncos. Trevor Lawrence was unreal again. Unreal. Great day. Another one on the ground too. He had 4 total touchdowns. ETN looked solid, 16 for 50. He had 4 catches for a touchdown as well. He was very good again. Parker Washington, 6 for 145 and a touchdown. Jacoby went 4 for 45 on 8 targets. Brenton Strange, 5 for 39 and a touchdown. Honestly, even BTJ, who only went 2 for 18, I think you kind of pick one and you throw them in your lineup. They're playing the Colts this week. The Colts are going to want to keep it competitive. I don't know that they will, but they're going to want to because that's their only shot at making the playoffs at this point. And, with the way Trevor Lawrence has been playing, I mean, this is a brutal Broncos defense. So, with the way Trevor Lawrence has been playing, I'd fire him up. I'd fire up ETN. I'd fire up Jacoby Myers. Parker Washington, maybe BTJ if you want to. Like, there's some good options. Strange if you need a tight end. So there's a lot of good options here. I think it's a fine week to go with really anyone you want to on that offense. As for the Broncos, Bo Nix was okay. RJ Harvey, 7 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Nobody else had more than 5. Weird. Cortland Sutton, 6 for 86 and a touchdown on 12 targets. He's the lead back. Harvey had 4 for 71. Troy Franklin was the next man up, 4 for 66. I think that's it there. You feel good about Sutton. I feel okay about Harvey. He's the lead back. And then Troy Franklin could be a decent option too as the wide receiver too in this offense. The next game we got the Falcons beating the Cardinals. Kirk was meh. Bijan was great, as always. 16 for 76 on the ground, 7 for 92 and a touchdown through the air on 11 targets leading the team. He was really good. He was really good. And Drake London was back. Algier also had 16 carries though and was decent on the day. Kyle Pitts, 7 for 57 and a touchdown. Drake London only had 3 for 27, but there was enough to go around for all three of them. Right now, I think I would say I'd feel confident starting Pitts, and you're starting Drake London, you're starting Bijan Robinson regardless. So, yeah, I think Pitts is still a good option, even with London. For the Cardinals, it was a down day. Brissett, unfortunately, first game outside of the top 12 QBs. It was not a good day. Not a good day for it to happen in the semifinals. Trey McBride only 4 for 27 on 8 targets, which tied for the team high, but you don't like that either for the semifinals, of course, too. Michael Wilson went 2 for 52 and a touchdown. Marvin Harrison only went 1 for 14. I see better days ahead for this offense as a whole. I think Michael Wilson, and Trey McBride are all good options moving forward. You're starting Trey McBride without even thinking either. I think Brissett, you're still going to want to start with how good of a season he's had overall. And Michael Carter, who led the team in carries, I think he could be a fine start if you need to go with a deeper running back option. Let's do the next game. We got the Texans beating the Raiders. CJ Stroud, decent day. Jawar Jordan outcarried Nick Chubb in this one. They gave him the ball. They said they wanted to go with the young guy. So they went Jawar Jordan. He was all right, 5 catches as well. Nico Collins 4 for 59, Dalton Schultz 5 for 35 and one. Those are kind of your options there. I think Woody's gonna be back this week, and he could be a good option. He really could. I think you know, with the way this offense has been operating, the running backs getting carries and they're getting pass catching work too. Schultz has been getting in the end zone too, so he's a fine tight end option. And then Nico Collins, you're going to start regardless. Just an off day for him. For the Raiders, Gino, it was fine. The story is, well, first there's Brock Bowers, who you're going to start every week. He got in the end zone in this one, but the story is Ashton Genty, 24 for 128 and a touchdown on the ground, and 1 for 60 for a touchdown through the air. He's getting pass catching work. This one specifically, he didn't get a lot. He only got two targets, only that one catch, but he took it 60 yards to the house. And then on the ground, he was very efficient, got in the end zone against a tough Texans defense. So, I think I'd feel confident starting Genty going into the championship week. They get the Giants. It's a good matchup. So I like that there for them. The next game, we got the Steelers beating the Lions. I did not expect that. The Lions have been really good after losing. They come back, they win the next one, but they lost back-to-backs for the first time in a long time. Aaron Rodgers, decent day. Jalen Warren, 14 for 143 and two. Both of those touchdowns were 45 yarders. He was ripping. He had a great day. Kenneth Gainwell, 9 for 50 on the ground, and then 5 for 78 and a touchdown through the air on seven targets. Only second on the team behind DK Metcalf, who is no longer going to be playing because of the suspension. So, well, it looks like Adam Thielen's the next man up. He went 4 for 49 here. They got a couple tight end options as well. Deep league, 14 team plus. Adam Thielen's a good option in my opinion. He's gonna be the one there for the receivers, so I think he's a solid option. Jalen Warren feels okay. He feels much more touchdown dependent. Kenneth Gainwell, I'm starting. He's been unreal. He's getting so much work through the air. I'm starting him going into this week, and with DK not there, I think he's going to be a great option this week. But Gainwell, Warren, and Thielen in deep leagues, I think are good options. Goff, it was a good day. You can feel comfortable starting him for the most part. They did nothing on the ground as a whole. Jahmyr Gibbs went 7 for 2, and David Montgomery went 4 for 14. Weird day, but Gibbs has that unreal receiving work, so 10 for 66 and a touchdown on 13 targets. He had a great day because of that. Jamo went 5 for 70 on nine targets. Amon Ra went 4 for 54 on nine targets. Isaac Tesla went 4 for 52 and a touchdown on seven targets. There's just a lot to go around. Goff threw the ball 54 times in this one. You're firing up Gibbs. I'd feel hesitant with Montgomery. You're firing up Gibbs though. Amon Ra, you're firing up anyways, even after a down day. And then I think JMO, you could feel okay starting too. He's been really good. So I think you're starting a lot of guys here. Sunday night, we had the Patriots and the Ravens. I believe we're getting all the games here. I'll make sure I cover them all in a sec. But Drake May, 380 yards, first game over 300 yards for him. It was a solid day. 10 carries for him as well. Stephon Diggs, he was the beneficiary, 9 for 138 on 10 targets. Matt Collins, 7 for 69 on 9 targets. The touchdowns are going elsewhere, right? Hunter Henry got in the end zone. Kyle Williams got in the end zone. It feels a little roulette-like with this Patriots receiving core, but it feels like Diggs and Hollins are the primary guys, and maybe they get a touchdown too if you're lucky. But yeah, it's tough. I think Diggs. I don't know if I'd start him. I think they're going to go run heavy against the Jets this week. So it's going to be tough to trust guys. Hunter Henry, you could if you need to, right? He had, about 15 points in this one after getting in the end zone. So I don't mind that. Matt Collins, maybe if you're in a super deep league. Ramondre Stevenson, though, 8 for 51 and a touchdown after Travion went down. He had 2 for 27 through the air. He's a good option. I think he's a really good option if Travion doesn't go. If Travion goes, I think Travion's a good option. So, yeah, there you have it with the Patriots. The Ravens were not very good overall outside of Derrick Henry. 18 for 128 and 2 on the ground. I don't know why they pulled him for the last 12 minutes or so when they're winning the game, but as a Patriots fan, I'm not going to complain. It helped us get the win. But yeah, it was really weird. Derrick Henry was torching us. We couldn't stop him. and they decided to pull him. But it was a great day for Henry nonetheless, and you're going to start him next week. Lamar, maybe not. Tyler Huntley, he went 9 for 10, but only 65 yards. Zay Flowers went 7 for 84 in this one. I probably just don't feel that confident in him. Mark Andrews only 2 for 21. I'm not confident in him. So yeah, maybe only Derrick Henry next week for the Ravens. Let's see. Yeah, covered Thursday, covered both Saturday games. That looks like that is all the Sunday games. And now we heading into Monday night, we had the 49ers in a blowout over the Colts. It was really cool seeing Philip Rivers right away. He had a nice drive and scored a touchdown. So Rivers was okay. Jonathan Taylor got in the end zone, saved his day. Alec Pierce, though, 4 for 86 and 2. Josh Downs went 5 for 65. Tyler Warren, 3 for 30, but 9 targets. Pittman, 4 for 32. If we're looking ahead to next week, they get the Jags. I think they're going to air it out again because that's a good offense, the Jaguars. They're going to put up points. I think Jonathan Taylor's a good option. It's a tough matchup for the running backs, but you're starting Jonathan Taylor regardless. As for the receivers, I think Tyler Warren's a fine option. 9 targets is really nice to see. Tied for a team high. I think Downs is a fine option. I think Pierce, honestly, I think any of these guys, Pittman, there's going to be enough to go around where you could take shots on the guys you want to. So I don't mind any of these guys from the Colts, really. As for the 49ers, Brock Purdy, 5 touchdowns. It was unreal. He had a great day. I'd fire him up again this week, honestly. Christian McCaffrey, the inevitable, 21 for 117 and 6 for 29 and 2 through the air. He's been unbelievable all season long. It's been great to have him. I would fully fire him up again. We may not even get Kittle, which could mean more for McCaffrey. Kittle, 7 for 115 and a touchdown before going down. It was an unbelievable day for him as well. It's Juwan Jennings here too. 5 for 71 and a touchdown. So those three guys plus Purdy, I'd feel confident starting. If Kittle doesn't go, it's McCaffrey, Jennings, and maybe Tonjes if you need to. Maybe Tonjes if you need to in a pinch. But yeah, it's kind of those few guys right there that I'm confident in with the Niners. All right, that is that's going to do the recap right there. So we got some waivers. They're the waivers I'm specifically doing today in terms of can they help you potentially win a fantasy championship. So starting with the running back position, if he's available, Ramondre Stevenson. Like I said, if Travion misses the game, this is a workhorse role against the Jets, a soft Jets defense. I think he'd be a great start. Find a way to get him into your lineup almost, like start him as an RB2, a confident one. Blake Corum, he's getting in the end zone again. He's getting work. You can feel fine enough to put him in as a spot start. I think Michael Carter's getting work. You could do the same thing. Emmanuel Wilson, he got carries this week. And if Jacobs, for whatever reason, misses a game, Wilson's a great start. I put Raheem Sanders here. It's only Raheem Sanders if Dylan Sampson doesn't go. If Dylan Sampson goes, I think he's the better option. It's the Browns though. So if you really need a spot start, you could go either of those guys. Chris Rodriguez, fine option too. He's been getting work. He got in the end zone in this one. So yeah, I think those are your running backs that you could feel comfortable spot starting. As for receivers, Luther Burden, if he's healthy, he's been good before that injury for a couple weeks. So I think he's fine. Parker Washington, great option here. Parker Washington had a great week, and Trevor Lawrence is going to continue throwing the ball, and it's going to look good. Alec Pierce, 2 touchdowns this week. I think he's a good option too. If Philip Rivers is throwing the ball down the field, Pierce can get that, and he usually does. Adonai Mitchell, I said he's the number one for the Jets. So if you want to trust the Jets, they're going to have to throw the ball against the Patriots. So maybe he's going to get some work. Josh Downs, same with Pierce. Like there's just enough work to go around right now with the way that team is functioning behind Rivers now. Matt Collins, I think he's had enough good weeks now where it's like if you need to in a pinch, especially if Booty's out, Booty concussion. So, if he doesn't go, Hollins is going to be the number 2 there behind Diggs, and I think he's a fine option. And then Jalen Coker for deep, deep leagues if you really want to. At the quarterback position, Trevor Lawrence, check if he's available. He's been so good. He's the quarterback 4 on the year now, based over the last couple of weeks. He's really boosted that. Only if he's available, I think he's a good option. And Tyler Shuck, I think he's a good option too, if you're in a pinch. As for the tight ends, Colby Parkinson, I think he's a good option. If, Adams, if he doesn't go again, and you want to take a shot on Parkinson having a better game than he did this past week, I'm fine with that. Brenton Strange, he got in the end zone in this one. I think he's a good option. Taysom Hill, he's getting running back work as well. I think Taysom Hill's a good option. And then Colston Loveland, if you want to take a shot, he'd be my fourth out of these four. But yeah. And then drops for this week only to free up space for a potential starter, right? What you're doing here is you're freeing up space to get guys to start because it's a championship. You don't need to hold anybody, you don't need to stash anybody. So if you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to drop this guy, well, are you going to play him or not? If you're not going to play him, consider dropping him if you really want somebody else on waivers. But then again, your roster's probably solidified for the most part. Um, yeah, all right, that'll do it for waivers. Starts and sits of the week. Last week, we had a couple good ones. Herbert was a great start for me. Um, Tyler Warren was a fine sit. Man, this was not a good week for me. Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Warren, and Stephon Diggs all had a great week, and they were all sits for me. Darren Waller, this was before the news that Tua was getting sat. He was not a good start. Jaden Reed was not a good start. Vinny. Hampton was a great start. Ladd was a good start. Fannin was a good start for him. Um, Terry was a good sit. As for the others, Love was an unfortunate due to injury, not a good start. Caleb was not a good sit. Genty was a terrible sit. Schultz, not a great sit either. Just some unfortunate things, that didn't swing our way in this one. But I got some starts and sits for you for this week, and hopefully it looks better. My start of the week at quarterback. I'm going Purdy against Chicago. It's a good matchup, first of all. The Niners are going to have to throw, and Purdy is coming off a five touchdown game. I would feel very good about starting Brock Purdy in this one. They have something to play for too. They are looking for a higher seed in the playoffs. They've clinched, but they can boost their playoff seeding. So they have something to play for here. The Chicago Bears, those are one of the teams they're fighting for a better spot too. So I feel very confident playing Purdy after a five touchdown game for sure. My running back start of the week, I'm going Genty against the Giants. He had an unbelievable week this last week against Houston, and now they get the Giants, and it's a much better matchup. So I feel very confident starting Genty. I think he could run crazy all over them, and maybe they go up in this game too, because these two are two of the worst teams in the league, if not the two worst teams in the league. So maybe they go up in this one and they can just run the ball with Genty. We'll see. But I think this is a great matchup, great spot for him, and coming off a really hot game. So I like Genty a lot. My wide receiver start of the week, I'm going Mike Evans versus Miami. He's looked good since coming back from his injury. He's getting in the end zone. He's doing work. This is also a great matchup. Also, the Bucks have something to play for, and they need Mike Evans. I think I think Mike Evans is a good spot here. It's a good matchup. He's looked good. I'd feel confident starting Mike Evans. And my tight end start of the week, I'm going Juwan Johnson versus the Titans. It's a good matchup, but also 8 for 89 as the second option this past week, only behind Olave, right? Vele got hurt. So Juwan Johnson's the two now. And I think this could be a great spot for him where if you don't have one of those top guys at tight end, I think Juwan Johnson could have a great week. I think the number two option, Shuck has looked good too. So yeah, I really like Juwan for this week for sure. My sits. These are guys I'm less confident in. I'm sitting Justin Herbert versus the Houston Texans. The Texans have been disgusting all year long. They've been dominant. They've been destroying teams left and right, um, with the defense at least. I don't think I trust Herbert enough to start him in the championship week against Houston when there's been a number of bad games for him lately as well. Last week was great. It was Dallas though, right? So I think I'd rather sit Herbert and look elsewhere if I can, especially if Purdy's available, right? But yeah, tough matchup. I try and look elsewhere. My running back sit is Breece Hall versus the New England Patriots. The Pats have been good against the running backs all year, and Milton Williams might be back, who's been really that true reason as to why the running back hasn't been good. I also expect the Pats to just go up in game scripts and they'll be up in the game and they're just not going to have a chance to utilize Brees against the Pats when they're down. They're going to have to pass. And Brees has also just not been very good lately, just because the Jets haven't been, and Brady Cook is going to get another start at quarterback. So the offense won't be moving very well. So I think I'd rather just go elsewhere with Brees. If you really need to, consider him more of a flex than an RB2. Wide receiver sit of the week. I'm saying Marvin Harrison versus the Bengals. The Bengals are actually surprisingly good against wide receivers. They have been lately. I think also just after a bad week this week and the injuries and stuff, and it seems like they're also looking towards Michael Wilson a little bit more. I think just to finish out the season. This one could really, really look bad next week, but I think Marv is a fine sit option. I think you could look elsewhere. He didn't get anything done this week coming back from injury. There's just a lot of moving pieces there. And, I think there's just too much going on where I think I'd look elsewhere. And my tight end sit of the week is Colby Parkinson versus Atlanta. There could be no Adams again this week, and it's looking likely that that will be the case, which means, oh, Parkinson's the number two. Well, Atlanta's disgusting against the tight end position. Not too long ago into the middle of the season, Kittle had a dud against them, and we're like, oh wow, Kittle coming back from injury. He's not looking very good. Atlanta's that good against the tight end. Trey McBride had 4 for 27. He had a dud in the semifinals against the Atlanta Falcons this past week. So, I know people are going to like Parkinson, say, hey, Parkinson, there's no Devontae Adams. I just really don't like the matchup, and I think I'd go try and find somebody else who has a better matchup and more opportunity. I just think Atlanta's been so good against the tight end position as a whole. I mean, shutting down Kittle and Trey McBride, who have been the best two tight ends for fantasy all year long, that's a tough feat, and that really says a lot. I don't trust Parkinson, so I'd sit him, look elsewhere if you can. But like I said, we're gonna keep this week short, so that'll do it. Good luck with the championships. We are going to take a little break, Vinny and I, for the time being, but we will have content for you come January. We'll have some more content in a couple weeks for you. And we'll probably be recapping the season and looking at some things about, the fantasy season as a whole, maybe looking at some of our takes too. I know we'll do that for sure at some point. So we'll have a lot of content coming for you still in the future. So don't worry about that. But this will do it for the weekly recaps. Good luck in the championship. Good luck. Hope you get it done. I'm hoping I get it done as well. Maybe at that point, a three-peat, it won't be undrafted and unqualified. I'll be pretty qualified at that point. But yeah, best of luck, and we'll see y'all in a couple weeks.